Hello, my name is Chris. I'm here with the Pear Self-Defense Center, and we're going to do a double feature on the technique of the week. Our video last week didn't post, so we're going to do a twofer for you guys. What we're going to talk about particularly is the lines of attack and footwork, but we're also going to talk about the schools of thought when it comes to Aikido and Aiki-Jujitsu. Now, the mainstream thing is the MMA and the Jiu-Jitsu. Now, keep in mind, Aikido comes from the Jiu-Jitsu root. So depending on the founder's time frame in his life, it kind of dictated the school in the way he taught. So you have very combative, and you have what we would refer to as the show maneuvering, the big circles, the big motions. Okay, so what we have is a combative application and a classical application. Depending on the time of the founder's life, he would talk about the effectiveness of Aikido or Aiki-Jujitsu being in the striking ability. So these are things that a lot of people don't realize are even there in the art. So what I want to focus on is the aspect of the combative versus the traditional. So I'll demonstrate the same technique 3 different ways. We'll go with the classical grab, then we'll go with the combative street application, and then a simulated termination application. Then we're also going to talk about footwork and how to move around a person's energy and the redirecting through the deflections. Okay, so we got Dakota here today, and what we're going to do is we're going to start, back up just a little bit, we're going to start with the traditional grab. When he grabs, the reason why we grab is so that we can feel how a person's energy and weight is sinking into us, because it's easy to move somebody when motion is coming at you. So right here we have a static movement. So what do we do to generate movement is we sink and extend, drop back, and then come through. Okay, so that's the traditional, what you see in most demonstrations, the flowing, the circling of the movement. So when we have a combative application from a punch, come here, okay? Now that can come under his arm, it can come over his arm. So if it comes here, here. Now you notice that the leg sweep and the hip throw is interjected in that as well. Now if we're talking termination, we're talking direct line to a targeted area. In this case, it's going to be the neck. This is like the Steven Seagal moves that you see in the movies. Of course, I can't demonstrate the actual angle of the technique for the neck break, but it is a targeted neck. So he punches here, and I follow through with a big hip turn, hip rotation. Okay, so one more time from this direction. He punches here, and you can see the angle is going to come through and around. Okay, now with footwork, how do we get to the positions that we want? We have, this is the second part, we have the outer line, the inner square, and the outer line. Now how we get there depends on our footwork. Okay, so Dakota, we'll come this way just a little bit. Now what we got is, as he punches, I slide over. I step actually straight out and deflect his motion. So I have to move and block, okay? So he punches here. Now, from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step through, I'm going to bring him around, and I'm going to bring him over. That is a circling aspect, are you okay?
Yeah.
So, with that same type of footwork, he punches, I step off, I slide around, I collapse his knee. Then I can come into a choke or whatever. If I'm coming to the inside line, okay, come this way just a little bit, come to the inside line, he punches, here, see, even though I missed the line, I still trap, and I still have a combative application. Now, that brings me to another point, is the dynamics of the combative mind. Get out of your mind that you're not going to get hit. You will get hit, okay? In a real fight, in a real confrontation, you will get hit. Now, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to deflect and minimize the impact. We're trying to maximize the result. So, as you just seen there, I missed my line, but I still had an application. But if I don't miss my line, now I have open strike, okay? I have a head turn and a throw, okay? So, with all those elements intact, you can see that the movements can be very linear, not just big circle movements like you see in demonstrations. That is the difference between combative Aikido, Aiki-Jujitsu, and the demonstration. Okay, so as he punches here, see, okay?
Yeah, that's all good.
I hit the line. Now you can see that straight line hit. That's exactly how Aikido was intended, to be a direct linear attack. Okay, so one time here, he punches, I come out. I can hit with the elbow, bring him around, throw him across. All of those movements are depending on the line at which the other person is moving. So you have to be able to flow in a way so that you can interpret the line of attack or the line of defense. With all those elements intact, you have to know your angles. So you have to know what you can do from those angles, whether it's an attack, whether it's a defense, whether you blend and absorb, or whether you straight line attack back in. So everything is very circumstantial, and unfortunately a lot of people misrepresent the arts in a way that you can't really see what's really going on. So with all of that being said, look at what other people are doing. Look at the lines that they're working on, the angles that they're working on, because there's probably more there than what you may realize, more than meets the eye. So examine all the movements and examine where they're actually coming from or going to. So with all those elements, those are your techniques of the week.